first of all, I thought, let me kind of ask you, just to introduce yourself to viewers. Tell a bit about yourself, how old you are, what kind of surgery you had, and when you had it.
Right, Gary Pettit, I'm 51 years of age. I had a radical prostatectomy when I was 42 years of age, back in 2012. Radical being completely taken away. Everything you think that would go with that, I had. So there was no halfway house, no halfway measures. It was the full lot removed. So that was where I was with it at the time, at 42 years of age.
And when you say full remove, are we talking about the nerves that surround the prostate, or just the?
So the guy, and I think we spoke about this before. The guy likened it to the electric mechanism at the fair that you used to go around. You touch the sides, all the nerves are gone. So actually, the nerves stay in. But you know, for a good amount of time thereafter, and after the surgery, you do have a lot of erectile problems. Absolutely, no doubt about that.
We're going to come on to that. How did you find out you had the prostate cancer? How did you find out this problem?
It was a really strange process, if I'm honest. So I moved from one company to another, and the company I was moving to, because I was quite senior and they were paying me some money to go there, they decided they needed a medical from me, which wasn't out of whack of what I usually do, but they did a medical on me, and I had zero symptoms, zero, absolutely none. And I had a full medical, and it was about 4 or 5 days later that they contacted me to say, look, we need to check some other bits and pieces here, but there's something not quite right with this. Now, at 42 years of age, did I ever expect there to be something wrong? No. So with that, I went and did the more tests and the more biopsies, and then worse fears aligned, and they said that I had prostate cancer.
Did they give you any options, or was it radical surgery?
No, plenty of options. So they, now we're talking 9 years ago now, right? So again, we've come on 100-fold since where it was. But even then, so I had 3 choices at the time, 4 choices actually. One was to just keep looking at it and keep under monitoring and everything like that. Well, actually, that really wasn't an option for me, because the minute I said I had it, I was going to have it no matter what happened, which way I went. I was gonna have it taken out. Secondly, I was offered radiotherapy.
Yep.
So that would have been to insert some radioactive pellets inside me.
Yep.
So that was something to think about. Another alternative, it was at the time, it was new, but it was this the high frequency, radio waves and all that sort of stuff. But that wasn't completely tested at the time, so that was a real sort of finger in the air. And then the fourth one, which I ended up taking, was the radical prostatectomy, which was the complete removal.
Do you remember what your Gleason score was at the time?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. It was up there. It was up there.
Over 6.
Yeah. It was most definitely, it was over 6. I can't quite remember it. And do you know what? A lot of people ask me that. I think it was such a haze and such a blur, because I knew nothing about the prostate. I knew nothing about many cancers. Yeah. And so when they're saying, well, you've got a Gleason of this and a this and that, and I'm going, okay, but you want to tell me where the prostate is?
I totally hear you. When they diagnosed me, I was like, what? What are you talking about? I had no concept. Gleason 6 is what I had. And they could have told me I had a Gleason 26. I could have offered you no discussion as to what that meant. And so I totally hear that. All right. You have the surgery. It happens. Is it a difficult operation, or is it quite straightforward? What was it?
Was it a difficult operation? Listen, I mean, difficult in as much as it was 8 hours long. The guy did. He was the guy I had who had pioneered the robotic surgery. A guy by the name of Chris Ogden. He was brilliant. You know, and you know they did it all on the computer with the robot arms inside you and all that sort of stuff. Listen, for the sake of what was it tough? Yes, it was tough. Only the fact it's 8 hours. When you come round, you certainly know about it then, for sure.
8 hours is a long time under the knife.
It is. I mean, but if you think that he makes one slip with the thing as they're cutting it out, you know, you're never going to get an erection again, right? So, I mean, there was plenty at stake there, and I told him not to mess it up.
All right. So you've had the surgery. What kind of side effects did you have, or were there any side effects?
Well, listen. Let's say how it is, and this is the part that you know a lot of people don't like talking about. And I'll be blunt. I'll be very blunt. You know, you piss yourself. You know, you've got no concept. I mean, first time you've got the catheter in for the first 6 days, 7 days, or what have you. So even getting the feeling back of going to the toilet normally, you don't even think about an erection or anything like that in the early days. It's not nice. It's not nice. You know, it's something that. You know, I come to terms with. I'm the type of person that, you know, once you've had it and you've got, you know, get it out there, start talking about it. You know, so then moving forward from there. I mean, initially you've had, if you think about it this way, you've had the sort of walnut-sized thing taken away from where it's always been all your life.
Yep.
So now there's a gap. So, you know, they talk about do the pelvic floor exercises and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
To sort of, you know, strengthen there. But you know, that was the biggest thing for me. The wetting yourself all the time. You know?
I spoke to another friend of mine who had a radical prostatectomy, and he said that was the one that he was really unprepared for. He said the worst moment for him was when he woke up in the middle of the night and realised he'd wet the bed and his wife was in the bed with him.
Well, and that's
really bad.
Yeah, and listen, moreover, you know, if you're out and like, so for example, you have to carry the little pads around with you, because you just can't do anything about it. You know, they say they give you a finite time. Oh, you should be dry at this time. And I struggled with it really badly. You know, they said to me, oh, you should be dry in sort of 3 or 4 months and all that. It lasted 2.5 years for me, and I kick myself now, because they actually said to me, the guy kept saying to me, no, you're fine, it will come back, and I got down to, you know, minimal drips and all that sort of stuff, but I could not stop it. So, you know, in your day-to-day life, when you've got to carry pads around with you, if you are going to go out drinking, you're going to times it by 100, you know, and so I wasn't able to cure it myself, and I had to have a mouse sling put in to lift up all the pieces underneath.
Okay.
But after I had that was a 45-minute operation, and it cured it instantly.
Wow! So that was for quality of life purposes, that was massive.
Honestly, I mean, you find yourself you can't wear light coloured trousers, because you know that if you're somewhere and you have a laugh and you ain't got a pad, you're going to wet yourself. You know, and it's you know, it's indignant, you know, but you know, suddenly then you learn to live with it. But trust me, when I had that operation, I mean, from the time I woke up, never since have I. Well, I mean, you know, maybe you have an accident, but never since have I done it.
Okay, I mean that's we are gonna. Gary and I are having a brief conversation today, but we're going to have a deeper conversation about the prostatectomy and about his experience in the months to come. But so just Gary, I know the one that we all want to hear about is the sex. Everyone has a different experience of this. I know from talking to a couple of people, it was quite yes, there was an erectile issue right from post-surgery. For some people, that lasted a very long time. For other people, it was a relatively short time, very difficult while it was happening. Now, what was your experience?
Still ongoing.
Okay.
If I'm honest, and we're talking 8-9 years down the track now. look, I try and make fun of it because it is, I have to laugh because,
Yep.
that was one at 42. Will not be having things, So I tried all the tablets, the Viagra's and all that. What they said was you should be having the smaller doses early on, the 5 mils and all that sort of stuff. Well, I that weren't good enough for me. I wanted to get the hundreds in me, But then, of course, with that, you get all the headaches and everything that comes with it and all that. So then, I tried the injections. That is just awful. It works. It absolutely 100% works, but it ain't nice. It ain't nice. And listen, when your viewers get time in as you alluded to just a minute ago, maybe in the future when we do a live one, I've just got the best story with that because it works, but the problem is there ain't no retraction after you've had it. You've got to sit with it you've got to sit with it for a good little while, right? So, but I would say, look, I'm still not 100% now, right? But then that pretty much goes with how my recovery's gone. I didn't get the dryness back, and I had to have a thing done for that. I know that I can take the tablets, and then things will work to an extent. The only 100% proof thing that's worked has been that injection, and it really wasn't something I'd want to do. People obviously get used to doing it and all that sort of stuff. Wouldn't be for me.
Okay. All right. Gary, thank you so much. That's just a taster of the conversation we're going to have in the week to come. Thanks a lot, Gary. Much appreciated. All right.
Wonderful. Glad you filmed me.